Hey, good morning, friends. Welcome to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for joining us. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010 if you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we're here for you. If you have questions about Corona mania, this Corona crazy time we're living in, we'd love to talk about that or answer your questions. If you have questions about supplementing or building the immune system to protect yourself against viral infections, we can help you there too. And of course, if you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you just want to comment on anything we're speaking about, 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can purchase longevity products right off the website. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $30 fee. Be in business for yourself and help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. Always relevant, but especially relevant in this day and age. People are definitely becoming hip to supplementation. Longevity checks are up and getting lots of calls and questions and inquiries. If you are interested in having your own business, if you're interested in becoming financially independent, if you're interested in working for yourself, or if you just want to make a little extra money, or if you just want to be part of the longevity family, and it is a family, all of us are dedicated to helping make the world a better place. If that sounds good to you, call 866-735-2470 for more information, or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to take a look at our truth reviews at truthreviewed.com, truthreviewed.com. We have over 500 five-star reviews on our truth treatment products, and I understand why, because I've been using them for almost 30 years now myself. I've been giving out to my friends, and I have historically filled them on prescription for wound healing, as we've talked about many times on this program. And all our Truth Skin Health products are available at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, we've got a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Susan Shumsky is a very prolific author. She's written 17 books. She's won multiple prestigious awards, and she's going to talk to us about third eye meditations. Susan Shumsky is a DD. She is a doctor of divinity and dedicated her life to helping people take command of their lives from an energetic standpoint. We've been talking a lot of mental health and I guess you could say kind of woo-woo. People call it woo-woo sorts of things on the bright side. I hope you guys don't think of it. I hope you guys don't think of it as woo-woo. Woo-woo is sort of a pejorative, insulting term for stuff when you talk about the effects of stuff you can't see or touch. Woo-woo comes from the world of the invisible. And somebody says, oh, that's kind of woo-woo. It's because they can't see it or touch it or hear it. It seems really non-scientific. Woo-woo sounds non-scientific. And, we have these ideas about what science is. But let me tell you something interesting about science. And I've been a scientist all my life. All my adult life, at least. I've been a scientist, probably since I was in my teens. I've prided myself on understanding chemistry and physics and the world of science. But there's kind of a misunderstanding about science. Science is not rational. Is that a surprise? I'm sure some of you are like, what? Science is not rational? Yeah, science is not rational. And by not rational, I'm talking as a philosophical term. The rational is part of the world of philosophy. And the rational in the world of philosophy is distinct from the sensual. This is a primary distinction in philosophy, the world of the sensual and the world of the rational. The world of the rational is the world of reason, the world of the mind. The world of the senses is, they call it the empirical world. It's rationalism versus empiricism. That's a fundamental battle, I don't want to say battle, fundamental distinction. They actually work together. But in philosophy, that's a distinction that philosophers make, is the world of the rational versus the world of the empirical. The rational is the mind, the empirical is the senses. What you can see, what you can feel, what you can hear. The rational is what you can know logically, what you can deduce logically. The rational tends to be mathematical. I'll talk about this here in a second. The scientist is, today anyway, maybe not in the past, but today's scientist is materialist. Our materialism is our current scientific paradigm. A couple months ago, I ran into this doctor. He was wearing a mask. The whole story there, and I just started talking to him. And I wanted him to come on the bright side. He was very into this whole COVID thing, and he was like, "Oh, you had to wear masks," and I just wanted him to share his medical point of view. mask wearers, by the way, that's saying something. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying you're good or bad if you're a mask wearer or not. But it's just it's a statement. If you're wearing a mask, you're making a statement. You could say you're making the statement, oh, I don't want to hurt other people because I'm kind and I'm really considerate. I don't want to spread infection. So you can say that. You can say I'm scared. But really, wearing a mask is has much more fundamental implications. Wearing a mask says that you believe what you're told. You believe that you might spread something. You believe that you might get infected. It's about believing what you're told. Think about everything we know about this virus is just what we're told. We don't really know things ourselves. We haven't really studied it ourselves for the most part. And if we studied it, we've studied it based on what we're reading in the mainstream, getting from the mainstream media. Nobody really dives into this thing. If you're wearing a mask, that's kind of a statement. If you don't want to wear a mask, that's another statement. It's a whole other story there. Anyway, he's wearing a mask. I want to come on the program. He says, okay, I'll come on the program. Next day I call him or I text him. And he says, well, I starts hemming and hawing via text. He says our show is not scientific enough. I've told the story before. He says our audience is not scientific enough. And at first I'm a little taken aback. Because I'm thinking of myself as a scientist, but the more I thought of it, I realized that for him, science is about the senses. It's about empiricism. He's a doctor. He sees people. An empiricist says, oh my God, people are sick. They're suffering. I see them suffering. I see them sick. And this was his take. You don't know. I'm in the hospital. I see people. That's what an empiricist says. A rationalist says, somebody who's reasoning, using their reasoning capabilities, not just their senses, but their reasoning, says, well, how do we know what's causing the problem? How do we know it's not the drugs that are causing the problem? How do we know it's not the hospital? How do we know it's not the comorbidity? This is what a rationalist person says. A reasoning person says. A clinical person says, and pretty much all of our doctors, or certainly most of them, are empiricists and nurses. Not that there's anything wrong, by the way, here. I'm just saying this is one way of seeing things, not judging it. Empiricist says, oh my God, people are suffering, we got to do something about it. A rationalist says, well, what exactly is going on here? And this is what's interesting about science. They've got two ways of looking at the world. We can look at it through our mind, our reason, which is logic and requires a certain mental development, which is not common, a certain mental evolution, which is not common. We live in a world where most people use their senses. So we can look at things reasonably, rationally, mentally, which requires evolution, or we can look at it through our senses, which is what most people do, what we can see, touch, feel. That doesn't require any development. Anybody can do that. A baby can do that. And this distinction is really, really important if we're going to take power over our lives, which I'll talk about when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. All right, we're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We got lines open for you. If you want to purchase longevity products, call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470, or head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can purchase longevity products or sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off the websites. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com and check out our reviews at truthreviewed.com. Got Susan Shumsky coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk about her book, Third Eye Meditations. And then we'll get your calls here in just a moment. Actually, I'm just going to finish this up real quick. This whole distinction. The reason I got into talking about this distinction is I got a text this morning from some gal, and I get these periodically about a condition called melasma, skin condition called melasma. So we have dark spots. Most of you guys know what I'm talking about, and she wanted to know how to get rid of them. And I've been going, I'm probably at least 4 or 5 times a week, I send a note to somebody about melasma. I talk about melasma, hyperpigmentation. And it's next to acne, it's probably the most important skin problem that people have, or skin complaint. And the thing about melasma is everybody wants to treat it by taking care of the dark spots. But if you really want to do it right, you got to take care of it at the causal level, which is the cortisol and estrogen. And you guys know I'm always talking about causal levels. And as I was typing this response to this gal, I was thinking, this must just sound like gobbledygook to her. She must be thinking, I just want to get rid of my dark spots. And that's when I realized that there's this invisible world that we don't pay attention to. where everything comes from. We're always looking at the material world, where everything has already come out of. It's the end product. It's the byproduct. And if we want to be powerful, we got to look at the root. And this requires rationality and reasoning. And we have, that's in short supply. And that's what this whole COVID thing is about. We're not applying rationality and reasoning as a culture. Present company excluded. If you're listening to this program, you probably like this kind of stuff. But most people don't. Most people want to know how they get rid of their dark spots or how they can get rid of the virus, capital T, capital V. And that's where mask wearing comes in. That's where hiding in the house comes in. And that's where shutting down the country comes in. How ironic is it that we wear masks to protect ourselves from the virus, but the day before the virus, we didn't care about all the crappy particulate matter and toxins and pesticides and fertilizers and all the other crap that's in the air that people are breathing, ozone and everything else? How polluted is our world? How polluted? Do you guys know what pig lagoons are? If you're listening from North Carolina, you know what a pig lagoon is. Pig lagoons are toxic waste dumps made of pig crap. And they're all over the place in certain parts of the country. We live in a toxic, awful, deadly environment. No wonder why we have these kinds of infections and pandemics. But all of a sudden, because we can see this now, we want to wear masks. And we want to hide in the house. Nobody ever talked about let's taking care of cleaning up our air, which ironically is getting cleaned up as we stay in the house. Anyway, this invisible world is where we've got to start, where we want to work. The world of reason. This is what the triangle of disease is about. The triangle of disease comes from the world of reason. It comes from the world of logic. Digestive system gets messed up, that leads to the blood sugar system getting messed up, that leads to the adrenal thyroid complex issues, and then all health challenges arise from that. And then you start to work with, you can start to deduce your symptoms. You start off with a theory, and then you deduce causes, I should say. You deduce causes based on the symptoms. It's deductive reasoning, as Sherlock Holmes would say, or, as I like to call it, forensic biology, doing forensics. Start off with a theory, and then you work with and then you put the clues together, and you form a theory of the case, as they say in legal circles. How it all went down, how the crime went down, in whether the crime is high blood pressure or cancer or melasma. All right, I got so much more to say about this. I've got Susan Shumsky coming up at the bottom of the hour, but I think I want to hit the phones. Let's go to Teresa in Idaho. Teresa, good morning, and welcome to the Bright Side. What's up?
Hello, hi. I'm Frank, Teresa's husband.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm Frank of Tulsa, but now in Nampa.
Oh, Frank in Tulsa. How you doing, Frank?
Right. Really fine, thank you.
Okay. You moved to Tampa, though.
With some issues with Teresa. Yeah, I'm in Nampa. It's beautiful here.
Okay. You said Tampa, right?
Nampa, N-A-M-P-A.
Oh, where's that?
It's near Boise. It's a suburb.
Oh, you're in Idaho. I am definitely a fan of Idaho.
It's so gorgeous out here.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. How far is it from Boise?
Just a suburb. They're just outside of Boise.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What's going on today?
Well, my wife is suffering with, she calls it PCOS.
Polycystic ovarian syndrome?
Let me have you talk to Teresa. She can explain a lot better than I can.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Teresa. PCOS?
Yes.
Is that polycystic ovarian syndrome?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, here's the deal with PCOS. I got a bunch of calls, but I'm going to give you some quick advice here on PCOS, and it's not uncommon. PCOS, for the listeners, is when you form a lot of cysts on your ovaries. Polycystic ovarian, they call it a syndrome because there's a lot of things that are associated with it, including weight gain and oily skin and breakouts, problems in menstrual cycles and reproduction, body hair and facial hair and hair loss on the head.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. Does that sound familiar? Sluggishness?
Yes, and so the biggest problem right now is the weight gain.
Okay,
and,
let me just cut to the chase here. It's not complicated. It's like a lot of things here, Teresa, that we talk about. It's very simple, but it's not easy. Simple in the sense that you got to work on your estrogen and you got to work on your blood sugar, both together. By working on the estrogen, I mean making sure you're having regular bowel movements to clear estrogen, supporting liver health, which will also help you with the blood sugar, and then using things like progesterone and pregnenolone. These are hormones that help balance out estrogen. And don't forget your essential fatty acids, unbelievably important. In fact, not just essential fatty acids, but all the fatty vitamins, very important for estrogen. Then there's the other component, which is the blood sugar component, and they kind of work together. So by doing the estrogen stuff, you're going to help your blood sugar. But directly for working on the blood sugar, staying away from foods that spike your blood sugar, and then using nutrients that help the body process sugar. Chromium, vanadium,
what's
sweeties.
the vitamins that we're on? Longevity.
Oh, you're going to need more than longevity probably. Longevity is a good start, but you're going to definitely need more than longevity because you're going to need zinc, 50 milligrams a day, vitamin E, 400 IU a day, vitamin A. You're going to have to listen to this again. Don't try to write it down because I'm giving you a ton of information. Vitamin A, 20,000 IU a day. Selenium, you can get that from longevity, 600 microgram a day. The ultimate niacin, you can get that from longevity, of course. And then all the B complex, the entire B complex. There's so much you could do. Most importantly, it's the foods, though. You want to stay away from foods that spike your blood sugar, and stay away from foods that you're having problems with, particularly vegetables that you might have problems with. All right, I want to see if I can get one more call in. I hope I helped you. I know that's a ton of information. Probably should do just a whole show on PCOS, which we will do. Thanks for your call, Teresa. Mo, what's going on? You get the last word this segment. What's up?
Yeah, hi, Ben.
Hey.
Okay, I used that Copperhead that the lady you had on a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And it was fine for the first 10 days. I mean, she was right that if you spray it, your hair will change color, which it did in days.
Yeah.
But after the 10 days, I don't know if I developed allergy, but I have so much swelling in my face.
Swelling where? In your head?
No, all
in your
over
body.
my cheeks and my ears.
Hey, send me a note. Send a note to Ben at ksco.com, and I'll see if I can get a hold of the gal from Copperhead. Ben at ksco.com. Got to go. Thanks, Mo. Appreciate your call. Susan Shumsky coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. All right, we're back on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben, and we're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central, and 24/7 on the archive pages at brightsideben.com and benfuchsarchives.com. Thank you to Peter in the UK for setting that up. That one has a search engine on it. If you miss a program or you want to review a specific topic, benfuchsarchives.com. Also, purchase longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, my blog, and criticalhealthnews.com. We've got news stories and blog posts and videos and lots of good free health information on all our websites. And then don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for wound healing. Wound healing is beauty. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. And you can check out our reviews at truthreviewed.com. Over 500 5-star reviews. Truthreviewed.com. Okay, I am looking forward to speaking to our guest. Dr. Susan Shumsky, DD, is a very prolific author. 17 books in English and 34 books published in foreign languages. She's won 31 prestigious book awards, and her latest book is called Third Eye: Meditations, Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, and Intuition. Hey, Dr. Shumsky, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you, Ben?
Well, it's very nice to talk to you. I'm looking at your beautiful picture as I speak to you, getting a sense for you and for your calm and patient way by looking at this picture. So as I was telling you before we went to our break, that we talk a lot about meditation on this program. I personally had a meditation practice my whole adult life pretty much. And then we talk about the glands a lot, especially the pineal and the pituitary. We haven't talked a lot lately about the pineal gland and the pituitary, but bringing them all together is somewhat intriguing. So let's talk a little bit about the glands from a chakra point of view, and maybe introduce the whole concept of chakras and the glands. And then let's talk a bit about meditation, and then let's talk about third eye meditations. Sound good?
Yeah, great.
Okay, cool. So the third eye. Now, is the third eye the pituitary, or is it the pineal?
Well, traditionally, in India, it is believed that the third eye, which is also known as Agya Chakra, is an energy center in the very center of your head, in the area of the pineal gland.
Got it.
The pineal gland is a gland. It's not part of the brain. It's the only gland in the middle of your head there.
And what do you know about things like calcification or some of the toxic things we do to our bodies that affect the pineal gland?
Calcification does come from fluoridation of water and various toxins, things that we ingest from our toxic environment. And the bad news is, yes, as we grow older, the pineal gland does tend to calcify. The good news is, however, that the chakra, which is associated with the pineal gland, is not in your physical body. If you were to dissect a corpse, you would not find a chakra or a nadi or meridian or acupuncture point or any of these things. You would not find them because they're in your subtle body and not in your physical body. So because of that, we still can awaken our third eye. We still can experience clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient abilities through the awakening of our third eye, despite calcification of the pineal gland.
So I take it that's true about all the glands as they relate to the chakras. So if you have, say, a pancreatic issue or an adrenal issue, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a third chakra problem, or you have an ovarian issue. That doesn't necessarily mean you have a second chakra problem. Kind of like that. Is that true?
Well, yes, the chakras are very much related to the physical body because they're what's keeping you alive. Prana, or life force energy, flowing through your subtle body is what gives you life. It gives you motion. It gives you heat. It's said in the ancient scriptures called the Upanishads of India that when prana, meaning life force energy, when prana is in the body, that is what is defined as life. And when prana leaves the body, that is what is defined as death. So if you have more prana flowing through your subtle body, then you are healthier and you have more energy, and also you have more magnetic attraction and charisma, and therefore you're more successful because people want to be around you. So prana is the key to life. It's the key to success. It's the key to robust health and well-being.
Well, I was going to talk about the pineal gland, but this sounds even more interesting here. How do I get more prana? That's what probably everybody is thinking, including me. How do you get more prana?
Yeah. So prana is in several things around us. Prana is in the air, first of all. So that's why in the ancient scriptures and the ancient practices, that's why it's important to practice pranayama, meaning breathing exercises. That's one way to get more prana into your system, is through the breathing exercises. Actually, there's two different parts to increasing prana through the air. First is the greater amount of prana by doing the deep breathing exercises. And secondly would be deep meditation, which refines the prana, where the prana becomes very, very subtle. And in very deep meditation, the breath is almost suspended. It's like you're not breathing at all. They call it suspension of breath. It isn't really suspension of breath. It's just that the breath becomes so subtle that it's imperceptible. You don't even notice that the breath is going in or out because it's imperceptible. So that's subtle prana. So prana in the air, number one.
Is subtle prana more powerful? Is the subtlety give it power?
Exactly. Yeah, and it brings more energy. So prana in the air is one. Prana in the water is number two, which would be swimming, bathing. That's why it's important to swim or bathe every day if you can, and that would increase prana in your energy field. A third is sunlight, getting out into the sun, and because prana is in the sunlight. And four, prana is in the food. And in order to get maximum benefit of prana from food, you have to chew your food until it's liquid. then you get maximum prana from food. So those are the 4 different ways that we increase prana in our system. And the most powerful way is through meditation.
So when I hear you say water and food and sunlight and air, I think of pollution and toxicity. How much has our trashing of the environment affected our prana, our ability to get prana, or the prana itself?
Absolutely. That the trashing of our environment, the abuse that we have caused to Mother Earth, definitely is affecting our ability to increase prana in our system.
So I'm going to ask you this when we come back from our break. I've got to take a quick break here, but I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say. What's the relationship between a pranic toxicity or a lack of prana and all of this COVID stuff that we're going through? We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. Dr. Susan Shumsky, her book is Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, and Intuition. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back with more of Dr. Shumsky on the Bright Side right after this. Howdy. Okay, we are back on the bright side talking to Dr. Susan Shumsky, author of the book Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, and Intuition. So, Doc, you think this is a pranic crisis we're going through? Corona crazy, as I call it?
I'm sorry, what
do you think
what did you say?
Do you think Corona mania is a pranic crisis?
Oh, a prana. Definitely, it's a pranic crisis. There's a doctor named Zach Bush.
Oh yeah, I know Zach I know Zach's work very well. Yeah. He talks about the toxicity aspect.
He predicted that Wuhan would be a place that would be a place where a new disease would be born before this outbreak ever took place, and that's because of the pollution. Mm-hmm. The most polluted place on the planet. And Zach blames it on Roundup more than anything else.
Yeah.
So this toxicity in our air is really the cause of this virus coming and destroying so much of human life on this planet. And it's a very sad thing that this had to happen in order for human beings to realize what they're doing to the environment. I just pray that they do wake up. I pray that we make a difference from this pandemic, that we change our relationship to the environment, which has been a very toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm. So how can we use your book and your wisdom, Third Eye Meditations, Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, and Intuition to get us through?
Well, the great thing about this book, Third Eye Meditation, is that it's filled with guided meditations, affirmations, prayers, mantras that anyone can use. You don't have to know how to meditate. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to learn a specific technique or anything. It's what I call the do nothing program. That means do nothing, nothing, and less than nothing, simply by reading the book. Or by, even better, would be to record some of these meditations on your device and then play them back in your own voice, record them and play them back, and just get comfortable, close your eyes, and start the recording, and then just listen to the meditation. You're automatically going to be taken into a deep meditative state. So the great advantage is you don't know how to meditate. You don't have to know how to meditate. This will just automatically help you to meditate.
Is there an element of trance or hypnosis in this?
Well, that's an interesting question, because really self-hypnosis is really just simply guided meditation. It isn't really that different. So in a sense, yeah, it's kind of like hypnosis. It's the power of suggestion. It's the power of intention. And just really, by following the instructions of a guided meditation, you're automatically practicing visualization, even though you don't know that that's what you're doing.
I like it. So you're just keeping on with this topic of suggestion, which is a very powerful concept. What is the meta suggestion of all of these meditations, the theme suggestion of the book?
since it's called Third Eye Meditations, it's a way for you to develop your third eye through practicing guided meditation. But that isn't really the ultimate goal. Isn't let's develop our third eye. The ultimate goal is to have the benefits from the meditations, and the meditations deal with all different areas of life, anything from health to relationships to well-being to world peace to spiritual awakening. Many, many different topics are covered in the book. These various meditations help you to improve your life in all of these different ways.
Okay, so you said third eye, and I noticed in your blurb here you talk about opening the third eye. That's something I hear about all the time. What exactly does that mean?
Well, there are many different chakras in your body. In fact, there are hundreds of chakras in your body, but there are 7 major ones. And the 6th chakra, called Agya chakra, is also known as the third eye chakra. It is in the very center of your head. It also extends to the forehead and the back of the head. And it is the center of illumination. It's the center of clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient superpowers or subtle powers of perception. In other words, we have our 2 eyes by which we enjoy the world. We see all the beauties of the world through our eyes. However, there is a third eye, and through the third eye you can see subtle realms of existence. You can see things that are hidden from view. And in order for that to happen, we use our subtle sensory perception. That means subtle sight, subtle hearing, subtle feeling. So we can communicate with beings in other realms. We can see things that average individuals don't normally see. But we all have some subtle sensory perception already developed. For example, if you walk into a party and you see various people, immediately you're going to sense certain people are real uptight, other people are very outgoing, some people seem very timid and shy. We can just sense things about people. Also, if you just walk into a building, some buildings we walk into, we feel we get a good vibe from that. We feel it's a warm, welcoming place. Other buildings, we get creeped out. Some buildings, we just want to run away immediately. If we walk into a bar, a prison, a mental institution, there's going to be a really bad vibe. So we are clairsentient. People are just generally clairsentient. We can sense things, but we can develop these abilities. We can get better at them through practice and through asking. Everything that I teach is based upon one thing, and that is ask, and it shall be given unto you. So by asking and having intention, as you mentioned, intention and asking, and practicing, practice, just like any other skill in life, meditation and intuition, these are teachable, learnable skills. Just like playing the piano, just like learning a new language, all it requires really is practice. And the other important element is don't be afraid to make a mistake. Because when you start to play the piano, it doesn't sound so great. You know, people don't want to listen to you playing. But with time, it starts to sound really good, and that's because of practice and also because of not being afraid to make a mistake, because you're going to make mistakes in the beginning.
So coming from your perspective, a third eye open perspective, I assume, how would you counsel or help somebody who's just freaking out at their wit's end, lost their job, stuck in the house, maybe have somebody who's sick, just don't know what's going on? What would you tell them using this kind of wisdom?
Well, yeah, the most important skills that we can learn at this time, during the time of this pandemic, the time of this crisis, are number 1, meditation, and number 2, intuition. And I'll tell you why. First of all, meditation will reduce stress, will reduce the panicky feeling, reduce the fear that we have of the future. Number 2, intuition is the most vital skill we need to learn, because we can no longer depend upon the advice of people outside of ourselves. We can no longer depend upon the institutions that we once were able to depend on and that we could count on in the past. The job, the pension, the retirement savings, all these things that we thought we could depend on are no longer really viable necessarily. So now what we can depend on is the ability to glean highest wisdom from within, because all wisdom is within us, and we can tap into that, and then we'll know exactly what to do. We can make decisions with peaceful confidence when we're in touch with our higher self, which is much smarter than our ego. Our higher self knows exactly what's highest wisdom for us to do. And the blessing of this pandemic is that people are now tapping into their true purpose of their life. They are forced to, because they're having to stay at home.
I love it.
And,
hey, Dr. Shumsky, we're out of time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Very inspiring. The book is Third Eye Meditations. Best of luck to you, Dr. Shumsky. Third Eye Meditations Awaken Your Mind, Spirit, and Intuition. Her website is drsusan.org, and that is all the time we have for today on The Bright Side. Thanks for listening, friends. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.